Hello everyone, my name is Liz Lesbrons and I am the Chief Compliance Officer for Lesbrons Incorporated, and I just wanted to tell you about this regulation from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration under the Food Safety Modernization Act. We are going to go over preventative controls for human food, also known as the PCHF. So, a major portion of the food consumed in the U.S. is imported. Therefore, we have a high risk of disease that we're vulnerable to. So the rule was enacted because the Center for Disease Control, also known as the CDC, has estimated that about 48 million Americans get sick with foodborne illnesses each year, and about 3,000 die, and this is completely preventable. So January 4th of 2011, President Obama signed the Food Safety Modernization Act into law. And per the Food Safe Alliance, the Food Safety Modernization Act will touch every segment of the produce business supply chain from farm to fork, and it shifts the focus of the FDA of ensuring food safety through the prevention of microbial contamination rather than just reacting to the problem after it already occurred. Okay, so current good manufacturing practices per the FDA provide systems that assure proper design, monitoring, and control of manufacturing processes and facilities, and these are enforced by the FDA. So previously, guidelines that used to be non-binding are now binding under this PCHF. So during hiring and during training, we need to ensure that employees have the necessary education and experience to manufacture, process, pack, and hold food that's clean and safe, as well as have that hygiene and food safety understanding. Now, allergen cross-contamination is explicitly stated in regulatory text, as previously it wasn't, to reduce the potential for allergen cross-contamination in food contact surfaces or food packaging materials. As well as human food byproducts for animal foods. They must be held in a way to protect against contamination from sources such as trash, and they must be accurately identified. Now, the main part of the PCHF here is this food safety plan. It must be written and formally published. So I'm going to go over each step here. The hazard analysis, there's the biological, chemical, and physical aspects. So we don't want any, we have to ensure that the natural and unintentional parts that can get into food are accounted for, such as E. coli, those parasites, environmental pathogens. Going over preventative controls, any critical control point, which is a step in the food production process where preventative measures can be applied to prevent, reduce, or eliminate food safety hazards like bacterial growth. We want them significantly minimized to prevent and help ensure the food's not tampered with. So this includes process controls, food allergens, and sanitation controls. So oversight and management of preventative controls, it's kind of the same thing, but we want to monitor to make sure the controls are being performed, correct to identify any problems. Then we want to take these corrective actions to reduce the likelihood that the problem will reoccur. And all corrective actions must be documented with records. Then we want to verify that the preventive controls are consistently implemented. Regarding our supply chain, we need to identify any hazards that require preventative control and then make sure that control is applied in the supply chain. Regarding a recall plan, if a hazard is identified that requires a preventative control, we need to notify the consumers, we notify the public if it's necessary, make sure the recall is effective, and dispose of the food. This does apply to Lesbrons. We are a covered facility, an enormous organization headquartered in with over 350,000 employees, and we make close to $1 billion in revenue each year, so that is a huge amount. If you're a covered facility or your agents are in charge of domestic or foreign facilities that pack or hold or process food, you're required to register with the FDA. So Since we receive food from vendors and suppliers that's stored, prepared, and served, this is where we sit in. There are exemptions, such as a qualified facility. We would not be covered under the listed right here. So why does this rule matter to our organization? Well, first of all, the FDA has great jurisdiction, both foreign and domestic, and we have subsidiaries in foreign countries. They also have great broad links for fines and penalties. They can issue warning letters, and within this warning letter, you must have a written responses to the steps that you will take to correct the violation. Regarding the PARC doctrine, chief executive officers and other corporate officers can also be held personally liable for misdemeanor violations, even if they did not engage or know of them. Inspections, assessments, and reporting can be unannounced. They can be caused from a complaint that is noted from a consumer or an employee, and they must be reported through the corrective action reporting system. Voluntary correction should be encouraged for all observations, and when possible, be verified prior to the close of the inspection. This is just an example of the wall of shame on the FDA's website. So here at Les Fronts Inc., since we really only have restaurants and bars and room service, we're really focused on how we store and prepare and serve the food. We have a compliance manager just for FDA-related regulations. We obviously have a written and published food safety plan, including we have all managers and employees go to training programs, the FDA webinars, the Food Safety Preventative Controls Alliance, and the Sprout Safety Analysis, and I have a slide on the next page regarding that. All of our vendors are verified through a verification program. We follow the FDA Food Safety Plan Builder and the Food Defense Plan Builder. And these are just tools to assist us with the development of food safety plans that are specific to the CGMPs. Any other software we use would be the Hazard Analysis Critical Control Points, and that is just an internationally recognized method of identifying and managing food. And then we use the Rapid Recall Exchange, where we can see where products have been recalled. And then, of course, we do our corrective action planning for any mistakes that have been made, and then we come up with a solution written down. So this is just an example of that training program and how all of our employees would take that. So thank you so much for listening. If you have any questions, feel free to email me. And these are my sources. Thank you so much. Bye.